to Luke, the 15th chapter and the 17th through the 19th verses.
All right.
Luke, the 15th chapter, the 17th through the 19th verses. If you have it, say amen.
Amen.
If you do not, so wait up. Now, each of you that have no difficulty in standing, I would if you would stand, but if you have difficulties, you may remain seated. But I often ask people if they have no difficulty, because if you walk in the courtroom when the judge walks in, it's all right. You're going to either stand up or you're going to get out. And the President Obama would walk in. The President of the United States, we would all rise, which is fitting, but may I submit to you that the judge didn't wake you and I up this morning. Neither did the President start us on our way. The record said when the Holy Scroll was read, the people all stood up. But if you have difficulties, you may remain sitting. Luke, the 15th chapter, the 17th through the 19th verses, you'll find these words recorded. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's house have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thine hired servants. Luke the 15th chapter, verses 17 to 19. May the Lord have blessing to the quotation and hearers of his divine word. Amen. I want to talk about he came to himself. He came to himself. Turn and tell your neighbor, neighbor, oh neighbor. He came to himself. We are living in a world, in a time now, whereby most people that we meet are not at themselves. They are not in their right mind. There are some people that you speak to and you say, good morning, they say, what's so good about it? There are some you say, how do you feel? They say, well, are you a doctor? There are some people, even in the church, that feel that they're on the top of the bottle with the cork in their hand. There are many people who are not at themselves that feel like the sun rises and set on them. They feel that they are so important and everybody else is so insignificant that the world revolves around them. Well, when they act like that, they're not at themselves. They're not in their right mind. No matter what you have tonight, education is badly needed. Education, position, and recognition, houses in the land, does not mean that you're at yourself. You can ask people tonight, do you know Jesus? They say, I go to church. Because you go to church doesn't mean you know Jesus. If you have not had a personal experience with Jesus Christ, you're not at yourself. You're not in your right mind. If you have not had a dialogue or conversation with Jesus, if you have not talked to him, and more importantly, if you have not talked to you, you're not at yourself. Tonight in this story, the Bible shared with us about a prodigal son. The word prodigal means wasteful. And the world is full of prodigal sons and daughters. Some of you listening to me tonight, you're a prodigal.
All right.
You waste your time. You waste your energy. You waste your money. And you waste your influences for Christ.
All right.
Many theologians and schools of thought have criticized this young man for having left home.
All right.
But the young man, sin wasn't because he left home.
All right.
That wasn't his sin.
Amen.
His sin was his attitude at home.
Amen.
And the type of life that he chose to lead for himself after he left home.
Go ahead, brother. Fix it.
There's no sin in leaving home.
All right.
Some children are born to leave home. And other children are born to stay home.
All right.
Now those that choose to leave home are past makers. And those who stay home and later on decide to leave home become past finders.
Right.
Now before you can have some past finders, you must first have some past makers.
Right.
It shouldn't matter to you tonight whether your child or your children stay home or leave home.
Right.
But what should matter to you tonight is the type of life that your child or your children are leading for themselves. In other words, you don't have to leave home to do badly. You can do just as badly at home as you can away from home. Matter of fact, some children do so badly at home that the parents wish they would leave home. In this story tonight, you will discover a father and two sons. A younger son and an older son.
Yes, sir.
You will discover a family that is falling apart. But is reconciled by the love of God and the forgiveness of a tender-hearted parent.
Yes.
Really, in reading the story, the father in this story tonight is really nobody but God.
All right.
This is a parable. A parable is an earthly story with a heavenly message. So this prodigal son father in this story is really nobody but a loving, compassionate, forgiving God.
Yes,
And the younger son in this story is those of us who goes away from God, go out in the world, but come to our senses and come back to church and come back to God.
Amen.
And then the older son is those of us in the church that has such an unforgiving spirit that whenever people come back to church and come back to God, we always have that crowd in the church that always remind people about how long they've been gone and what they've done wrong, why they was gone. I'm teaching, but I'm going to preach. In this story, the younger son leaves home while the older son stays home. The younger son left home one way, but he came back home another way. I want you to see how this boy left home and how he came back. And I want to tell you tonight, you need to be careful how you leave home. Because you can leave home one way and have to return back home another way. I said a lot of these men is crazy.